The morning sunlight touched the old houses of Westbridge town, but inside Evan Carter's small room the day began with silence. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at his shoes. He did not feel excited about school. He did not feel anything at all. For him, every school day was the same, boring, empty, and predictable, but today would not be predictable. Today, something was waiting for him, something strange, something desperate. Evan grabbed his backpack and walked downstairs. His mother was washing dishes, humming a soft tune. "Have a good day, Evan," she said without turning around. "Yeah," he replied quietly. He stepped outside, walked down the street, and started his slow path to school. The cold air touched his face. A group of kids ran past him, laughing loudly. Evan didn't join them. He wasn't close to anyone at school. He wasn't popular, he wasn't athletic, and he wasn't rich. He was just there. He walked past the tall brick school building. Students filled the courtyard, talking loudly, teasing each other, or typing on their phones. But something felt different in the air, something heavy, something tense. Students stared at someone near the main entrance, a girl, a strange girl, unlike anyone the school had ever seen. She was small, thin, and pale. Her skin was silver gray like moonlight. Her eyes were large and deep, shaped like drops of water, glowing softly with a blue shimmer. Her head was smooth, without hair, and delicate lines ran across her cheeks like natural artwork. She sat in a floating wheelchair, small, round, and made of unknown metal. It hovered 10 centimeters above the ground, humming gently. For a moment, Evan thought the wheelchair looked older than the girl herself, like a piece of history, not technology. Everyone stared at her. Some whispered, some laughed. Some pulled out their phones and recorded her secretly. She lowered her head, looking at her hands. Her long fingers trembled slightly. Evan walked closer, curiosity pulling him forward, but he stopped when he heard a loud voice. "Look at her, what is that thing?" The voice belonged to Liam Hart, the biggest bully in school. He had a cruel smile, the kind that never disappeared. His two friends, Troy and Mason, stood behind him like shadows. The alien girl didn't respond. She didn't look up. Liam stepped in front of her wheelchair. "Hey, I'm talking to you, creepy alien." Still silence. Evan felt something painful twist inside his chest. He hated bullies. He hated how people enjoyed hurting others, but he didn't move forward, not yet. Liam leaned closer. "What did they send you here for? To spy on us, to infect us?" The girl finally lifted her head. Her eyes shined for a second. She spoke softly, her voice calm and smooth. "My name is Ryla," she said quietly. "I am here to study like you." Her voice was gentle, almost childish. Liam laughed loudly. "Study, please? You can't even walk." He placed his foot on the floating wheelchair's rim. Ryla flinched. Evan couldn't believe it. Liam was actually going to. Before Evan could act, Liam kicked the wheelchair's side. The floating chair shook, sparks appeared at the bottom, and the humming sound turned unstable. Ryla's eyes widened with fear. She grabbed the arms of the chair tightly. Students gasped. Some stepped back, others laughed nervously. No one helped, not even Evan, not yet. Ryla's wheelchair slowly dropped to the ground with a thud. It no longer floated. The humming stopped completely. Without the chair's support, she almost fell. Her hands trembled as she tried to lift herself up. Liam grinned. "Oops, guess alien tech isn't so strong, huh?" Ryla's breathing grew fast. She whispered something in her language, soft, frightened words. Her fingers scraped the ground as she tried to push herself upright. Evan felt his heart pound. Something in him wanted to scream, to run, to stop this. But years of staying silent held him back. He remembered every time he had stood up for someone and ended up being the one hurt. He took one step forward, then stopped. Liam reached down and grabbed the floating wheelchair. He lifted it with both hands. "What are you doing?" one student asked nervously. Liam smirked, "Teaching her a lesson." He turned, walked toward the trash area behind the school, and threw the wheelchair inside the dumpster. The sound echoed through the courtyard like a punch. Ryla gasped, her voice cracking. She tried to crawl toward it, her arms shaking, but it was too far, too high, and she could barely move. Students looked away, uncomfortable. Evan clenched his fists. He couldn't take it anymore. He took a step forward, but then the bell rang and everyone rushed inside. The bullies walked away laughing. Ryla remained on the ground, shaking, trapped between fear and exhaustion. Evan stayed still, frozen, watching her struggle, his mind racing. Should he help? Should he walk away? Should he act like everyone else? His heart whispered, "Help her." His fear whispered, "Don't get involved." Ryla tried again to lift herself, but she collapsed, breathing hard. Evan finally moved. He walked to her slowly, unsure but determined. She didn't notice him at first. Her eyes were focused on the trash area where her wheelchair was trapped. Tears rolled silently down her cheeks. They were not like human tears. They glowed faint blue. Evan knelt beside her. "Hey, are you hurt?" Her head jerked up in surprise. She stared at him in silence for a long second. Evan swallowed, nervous. I saw what happened." She blinked slowly. "Did you laugh too?" His heart broke a little. "No, I didn't." Ryla looked confused. "Then why did you not stop them?" Evan had no answer, not a good one. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "It is okay," she said softly, even though her eyes said it wasn't. She tried to lift herself again, but her arms gave out. Evan quickly reached forward. "Wait, let me help." She froze. "You would help me?" Her voice was full of disbelief, like she had never heard someone say that before. Yeah, Evan said, "Of course." He carefully slipped his arms under her. She was lighter than he expected, almost weightless, and lifted her up gently. Ryla gasped in shock. "You carry me." Evan nodded. "I won't let you fall." For the first time since she arrived, Ryla's fear faded a little. He stood up, holding her securely, and started walking toward the school doors. Students passing by stared with wide eyes. Some whispered, some took pictures. Evan ignored them. "Does it hurt anywhere?" he asked. "No," she whispered. "Only my heart." Evan looked down at her, surprised by her honesty. "They shouldn't treat you like that." Ryla stared ahead, her voice barely audible. "This is not the first time." Evan stopped walking. "What do you mean?" She turned her face away. "Other humans at other places, they did not like me either." Evan felt anger rising in him. "That's wrong, all of it." Ryla looked up at him again. Her glowing eyes filled with sadness and something else, hope, soft, fragile hope. He carried her through the hallway, past classrooms full of whispering students. When they reached the main classroom door, Evan took a deep breath. "Ready?" he asked. "No," she admitted, "but I will try." Evan opened the door. The room went silent. The teacher stared, shocked. "Mr. Carter, what is this?" Evan tightened his grip on Ryla. "I'm helping her." The teacher looked confused, unsure what to say. Evan walked to an empty desk and gently placed Ryla on the chair. She sat upright, trying not to show how frightened she felt. Whispers filled the room like buzzing insects. "Is she dangerous? Why is she here? Why did he carry her?" Evan ignored all of them and sat beside her. Ryla looked at him quietly. "Thank you," she said softly. "You're welcome," he replied. But inside, his heart was filled with questions. Why was she so scared? Why did she say this had happened before? Why was she here in a human school with no protection? And most important, what was she hiding? Evan didn't know yet, but soon he would find out. Soon everything would change. And the first signal came not from Ryla, but from Evan's phone. A message appeared out of nowhere. A message from an unknown sender. A message written in strange symbols. Then it translated itself. "Help her. You are the only one who can." Evan stared at it, confused and terrified. This was the beginning, the first warning, the first desperate call, and Evan had no idea how big the danger truly was. The classroom was silent, but inside Evan's mind, everything felt loud. The message on his phone replayed in his thoughts like an echo. "Help her. You are the only one who can." He didn't show the message to anyone. He didn't even understand it himself. Who sent it? How did they know about Ryla, and why him? He glanced sideways. Ryla sat quietly at her desk, hands folded, eyes lowered. Her skin shimmered faintly every few seconds like soft waves of silver light. It was beautiful, but also strange. He didn't know if it was normal for her species or a response to stress. The teacher started the lesson. Students pretended to listen, but their attention kept drifting toward Ryla. Some whispered behind hands, some took sneaky photos. A few even moved their chairs away from her as if sitting near her was dangerous. Ryla didn't react, she didn't defend herself, she didn't question anything. She just stayed still, too still. Evan watched her. A quiet thought formed in his mind. She's used to this. This isn't new for her. That thought hurt more than anything Liam had done. During the lesson, Ryla tried to write notes, but her fingers shook so badly that the pencil slipped from her hand multiple times. Each time it fell, she bent down slowly to pick it up, but her muscles were weak. Her arms trembled like she was lifting something heavy instead of a small pencil. She glanced around, hoping someone would help. No one did. Evan's chest tightened. He leaned over, picked up the pencil, and placed it in her hand. She looked up, surprised, as if she didn't expect kindness twice in the same day. Thank you," she whispered. "You're welcome," he said softly. Her eyes glowed brighter for a moment, not out of fear but gratitude, but the peace didn't last. A sudden metallic thump echoed from the hallway. Students turned toward the door. The teacher frowned but kept teaching. Ryla, however, stiffened instantly. Her head snapped toward the sound. Her skin shimmered again, not calmly this time, but sharply like ripples of fear. Evan leaned closer. "Are you okay?" Her lips parted, but she didn't speak. She swallowed hard, placed a hand on her chest, and breathed slowly like she was trying to calm herself. But something was wrong, very wrong. When the bell rang, students rushed out. The classroom emptied in seconds, but Evan stayed behind. Ryla didn't move. She stared at her hands, and they were shaking violently now, almost uncontrollably. Evan approached her carefully. "Ryla, what's happening?" She didn't answer at first. She pressed her palms together tightly until the shaking stopped a little. Then she whispered, "It is nothing." That didn't look like nothing. She closed her eyes. "I do not want to worry anyone." "But you're already worried," he said gently. "You don't have to hide it from me." Ryla looked at him again. For seconds, something deep and ancient seemed to shine in her eyes, something heavy with memory. "You helped me," she said softly. "That is new to me." Evan frowned. "No one ever helped you before." She didn't respond. Silence was her answer. He didn't push her. Instead, he crouched down beside her chair and spoke calmly. "I'm going to get your wheelchair back." Ryla gasped. "No, please do not. They will hurt you." He smiled a little. "They might try, but I'm not scared." "You should be," she whispered, sounding older than she looked. "Humans are cruel to those who look different. I have learned that many times." Evan nodded but didn't step back. "Ryla, why didn't you tell anyone they stole it?" "I do not want trouble," she said quietly. "Where I come from, trouble brings destruction. My people do not fight." Her voice trembled with a loneliness so deep it chilled him. Before he could say anything, a shadow fell across the door. Liam. He leaned against the frame, smirking. "Look who's babysitting the alien." Ryla tensed instantly, shrinking into her seat. Evan stood up. Leave her alone, Liam, or what? Liam stepped closer. Gonna run to the teacher. Going to carry her again like a little hero. Just stop, Evan said firmly. Liam looked at Ryla. Still no chair, too bad, maybe it's still lying in the trash. Ryla flinched, Evan's hands curled into fists. Why are you doing this? Liam shrugged. Because it's funny. It's not funny, Evan said sharply. It's sick. Liam's eyes narrowed. Careful, Carter, you're getting brave. But before Liam could say more, a strange sound vibrated through the classroom, a soft hum like a low musical note. It came from Ryla. Her skin glowed brighter. Liam stepped back. Hey, what's she doing? Ryla shook her head quickly. No, I am not. I do not want. Her breath grew fast. The glow spread across her body. The air around her shimmered like heat waves. Evan stepped toward her. Ryla, what's happening? She grabbed the edge of the desk. I cannot control it. Control what? Eyes flashed with blue light. Liam stumbled backward, tripping over a chair, fear breaking through his attitude. Is she going to explode? No, Ryla said through shaking lips. Just stay back. But Evan didn't stay back. He stepped closer. It's okay. I'm here. You're safe. She looked at him with terrified eyes. I am not safe. You are not safe. Then as suddenly as it started, the glow stopped. Her body went still. Her breathing slowed. She slumped forward, exhausted. Evan caught her before she fell. She weighed almost nothing in his arms. Liam stared with wide eyes. She's a freak. I'm telling the principal. Evan glared at him. Do it. Maybe the adults should know what you did to her. Liam froze. For the first time, he looked unsure, even scared. He stormed away without another word. Ryla's breathing was shallow. Evan guided her back to her desk. Are you okay? He whispered. She nodded weakly. I am sorry. My body reacts to fear. I did not wish to scare you. You didn't scare me, he said. You scared him. A tiny smile appeared on her face, the first real smile he had seen, but then her smile faded. Evan, she whispered, I must tell you something. He leaned closer. What is it? She looked toward the window, eyes filled with dread. Her voice dropped to a trembling whisper. I am not supposed to be here. What do you mean? I was not sent to study, she said softly. I was sent to hide. Evan's heart froze. Hide from what? Ryla's eyes filled with tears, glowing blue tears. From the ones who want to find me, she whispered, and they will come soon. A chill ran down Evan's spine. He remembered the message on his phone. Help her. You are the only one who can. Now it made sense. He swallowed hard. Who sent you the warning? Ryla shook her head. Not who, what? Before he could ask more, a violent noise shook the hallway, a crash like metal breaking. Ryla's eyes widened in terror. They are here, she whispered. Evan stood protectively in front of her. He didn't know what was coming. He didn't know what he was up against. He didn't know why he, out of all people, was the one chosen to help her. But he knew one thing: he would not leave her, not now, not ever. And in that moment, something ancient and powerful awakened inside Ryla, something she had been trying to bury. Something that was no longer going to stay hidden. The sound that had shaken the hallway faded, but the echo remained in Evan's mind. It was not a normal noise, not a locker slam, not a door closing. It was deeper, heavier, like metal and something alive. Ryla sat frozen in her chair, her eyes wide, glowing brighter than before. Her hands held the edge of the desk so tightly that her fingers turned almost white silver. Ryla, Evan said softly, what was that? She didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the classroom door, as if something stood just behind it, something only she could sense. Evan swallowed. Is it them? She nodded once, very slowly. Fear crawled up his spine, but he pushed it down. Who are they? Before she could explain, a shadow moved past the small window in the classroom door. Ryla gasped, her whole body trembled. They found me, she whispered. Evan turned toward the door. He expected a teacher, a student, maybe even Liam again, but the shape was wrong, too tall, too thin, too still. The doorknob rattled. Evan's heart pounded so hard it hurt. He stepped in front of Ryla without thinking, placing himself between her and the door. Evan, she whispered, you do not understand. They do not stop. They do not show mercy. Good, he said, even though he was terrified. They're about to meet a human who doesn't stop either. The doorknob stopped moving. Silence. Then the sound of metal scraping against the floor echoed from the hallway again. Evan moved closer to the door, careful, tense. He peeked through the window. The hallway was empty. No students, no teachers, no strange tall shape. But at the far end of the hall near the stairwell, something crawled along the wall. It was small, like a large spider, but made of dark metal. Its legs were thin and sharp, gripping the wall as it moved. A red light glowed in its center, blinking slowly like a watching eye. What is that? Evan breathed. Ryla didn't have to look. She already knew. A seeker drone, she said softly. They sent it to track my energy. They know I use my power. They are close. Evan turned back to her. We need to tell someone. She shook her head quickly. No, adults will panic. They will attack. The seekers do not like sudden moves. They will respond. How? Evan asked. With death, she said simply. The word hung in the air like a cold stone. Ryla looked like she wanted to disappear. This is why I hide, why I never fight back. When I use my power, they feel it, they follow it. I am a signal to them. Evan thought of her glowing skin, her shaking hands, the strange waves of light around her when she was scared. So just being afraid calls them, he asked. She nodded. Strong fear, strong energy, they feed on it. That's evil, he whispered. She looked down. That is why my people ran. We are peaceful, they are not. The drone crawled closer, its red eye scanning the hallway. It paused outside a classroom, then moved again. It seemed to be searching, sniffing out invisible trails in the air. Evan stepped back from the door, his brain racing. If it finds you, what happens? He asked. It marks my location, Ryla said. Then it sends a signal, then something worse comes. Worse, Evan repeated. She met his eyes. A hunter. His skin went cold. He checked the hallway again. The drone was now closer to their room, moving slowly and carefully like a spider nearing its prey. We can't just sit here, he said. We need a plan. Ryla closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, a different kind of light was there, not just fear but determination. My chair, she said, the floating one, it has shielding. If I reach it, I can block my energy. They will lose my trail. Vin remembered the dumpster. They threw it in the trash. She nodded. Then we must get it back. He almost laughed at how simple she made it sound. The school, the bullies, the drone, the unknown hunter, and her plan, get the wheelchair. But sometimes simple is all you have. He nodded. Okay, let's move. Ryla looked at her legs. I cannot walk far. My muscles are too weak. I'll carry you, Evan said without hesitation. Her eyes widened with shock again, just like earlier. You would do that again? Yeah, he said. I'm getting good at it. A small, nervous smile touched her lips. He moved to her side, slid his arms gently under her, and lifted her from the desk chair. She wrapped her arms lightly around his neck to keep balance. Her body was still trembling, but she trusted him. As he carried her, he checked the hallway once more. The drone was very close now, its red eye turned toward their door. Hold on, Evan whispered. He pushed the door open slowly and slipped into the hallway, staying low. The drone clicked and turned, slowly scanning the air. Ryla buried her face against his shoulder. Do not let it see my eyes, she whispered. They glow, it will detect faster. Evan moved carefully, staying close to the lockers, heart pounding like a drum. He walked in the opposite direction of the drone, hoping it would follow the stronger trail of energy behind them. As they moved, the drone crawled toward their old classroom, its legs tapping softly on the floor. It is tracking my leftover fear, Ryla murmured. We must be fast. They made their way through the empty hallway, down the stairs, and toward the back entrance of the school. But when they turned the corner near the exit, Evan stopped. Liam was there. He stood with Troy and Mason, looking out one of the back windows. His hands were in his pockets, but his shoulders were tense. He looked shaken. Troy noticed Evan first. Dude, what are you doing? Why are you? His voice stopped when he saw Ryla in Evan's arms. Liam turned slowly. His eyes flicked between them, then to the hallway behind them. What was that thing in the hall? He asked, voice low. Evan frowned. You saw it? Yeah, Liam said. Big metal bug, not funny. Troy nodded quickly. It crawled past us, thought it was some robot project from lab, but then it climbed the ceiling and scanned us. Like a freaking laser scanner, man. Mason shivered. It ignored us. It's looking for something else. Someone. Evan glanced down at Ryla. She whispered, we do not have time for them. The dumpster outside. Evan tried to move past the bullies, but Liam stepped in front of him. Where are you taking her? Liam demanded. To get her wheelchair, Evan said. The same one you threw in the trash. Liam looked away for a second, guilty for the first time ever. But pride still sat on his face like armor. That thing in the hall, he muttered. It wasn't normal. What's going on? Do you really want to know? Evan answered. His eyes were sharp now, not scared, angry, protective. Liam opened his mouth to say something rude, but then he really looked at Ryla. She wasn't a monster now. She was just a tired, frightened girl in someone's arms. Someone who would have fallen if not for that human holding her up. Ryla spoke. Voice quiet but clear. You are afraid. Liam stiffened. I'm not afraid. You are, she said gently. But it is okay. I am afraid too. No one had ever spoken to Liam like that, not with anger and not with kindness either. The hallway shook again, soft this time, like something heavy landing far away. Ryla flinched. The seeker has called. We are running out of time. Evan pushed forward. Move, Liam, or stay and scream when the real monster comes. Liam hesitated, then stepped aside. They rushed through the back door and out into the cold air behind the school. The dumpster area was quiet, the tall green containers standing like ugly giants. Which one? Evan asked. Ryla pointed weakly. The second one, he threw it there. Evan walked over, still holding her. He peered inside. Trash, broken boxes, old papers, no sign of a floating chair. It's not here, he said. Ryla's skin went pale silver. It must be. It must. He checked again, moving some trash aside with one arm while keeping her safe with the other. It was hard, awkward, but he tried. Still nothing. Someone had removed it. Evan's stomach dropped. If your enemies came here, could they take your chair? She shook her head. They cannot touch my tech without damage. It would burn them. Then who took it? He asked. Another voice spoke behind them. I did. They turned. The school janitor stood there, a quiet older man named Mr. Harris. He always moved slowly, pushing his cleaning cart through the halls. Most kids didn't even know his first name. He was just that janitor guy. Now he held something in his hand, a small device, shining in silver with the same metal as Ryla's chair. Evan tensed. Mr. Harris, you took her wheelchair. He shook his head. Not just took, I repaired it. He stepped aside and pointed. Behind his small shed, hidden under a tarp, floated Ryla's chair, fully working. Humming gently, hovering above the ground. Ryla gasped, her eyes filling with glowing tears. You fixed it, Mr. Harris nodded calmly. Your tech is old, beautiful, very different from the ones I remember, but similar enough. Evan stared. Remember, what do you mean remember? For the first time, Mr. Harris looked at him with eyes that seemed much older than his body, eyes that had seen too much. I've met her kind before, he said quietly. Long ago. Before you were even born. The ground shook again, harder this time. A shadow passed over the school building. Ryla looked up at the sky, her voice breaking. The hunter, Mr. Harris moved quickly then, faster than Evan thought possible for a man his age. Put her in the chair, he ordered. Evan didn't argue. He gently lowered Ryla into the floating seat. The moment her body touched it, the chair glowed with soft blue lines, wrapping around her like a shield. She sighed. Some of the pain leaving her face. The shield is on. It will hide my energy for some time. Not forever, Mr. Harris said, but enough to buy us minutes, maybe more if we are lucky. Evan looked between them. You knew this day would come. Mr. Harris gave a small, sad smile. I hoped it wouldn't, but I prepared just in case. Another low roar echoed from the sky. A dark shape passed behind the clouds, huge and slow. Ryla stared upward, her voice shaking. They brought a hunter-class vessel. They only send those when they are truly angry. And are they? Evan asked. Yes, she whispered, at me, at my people, at anyone who helps us. Evan felt fear, but something stronger began to grow inside him. It was not power, it was not alien energy, it was simple human courage. He looked at Ryla, then at Mr. Harris, then up at the sky. Then we'll just have to make them regret coming here, he said. Ryla stared at him. Stunned, you would stand against them. Yeah, Evan replied, because this is my planet, my school, my friend. Mr. Harris nodded, a small spark of pride in his eyes. HFY, he murmured softly. Evan frowned. What? Humanity, F. He stopped himself, then smiled. Humanity, heck yeah, you humans never change. The hunter's shadow grew larger over the school. The seeker drone had done its job. Now the real danger was coming. And humanity was not planning to hide. Not this time. The sky above Westbridge School did not look normal anymore. Dark clouds gathered in a circle over the building, spinning slowly like a giant storm. But there was no wind, no rain, no thunder, just pressure. Like the air itself was waiting for something. Evan stood beside Ryla's floating chair behind the janitor's shed. Mr. Harris stood on her other side, his face calm but serious. The hum of Ryla's wheelchair was steady now, low and smooth. A faint blue shield shimmered around her like a bubble of light. It made her look less fragile, but still small, still breakable. Evan glanced at the sky again. How big is a hunter? He asked. Ryla swallowed. Bigger than this school, smaller than your moon, large enough to destroy a city, small enough to land. That's not comforting, Evan said. Mr. Harris didn't look surprised. They won't land the whole ship. Said they'll send a fragment, a piece, one unit, enough to grab the target and erase witnesses. Evan stared at him. You really have done this before, haven't you? The janitor sighed. I didn't do this. I survived it. Big difference. Ryla turned her glowing eyes toward him. How did you survive? She asked, her voice shaking. Badly, he said, but we don't have time for my stories. The clouds above twisted tighter. A thin beam of red light came down from the sky. Almost invisible at first, it touched the top of the school building and spread out, crawling along the roof like liquid fire. Ryla gasped. They are scanning the structure. They are mapping exits. They are planning paths to me. Evan clenched his fists. Then we don't stay here. Where would we go? She whispered. They can track me anywhere on this planet. Yeah, Evan said, but anywhere is better than sitting still and waiting to be taken. Mr. Harris nodded. He has a point. Hunters like scared prey. Running changes the energy, confuses their tracking for a short time. Ryla blinked. So what do we do? The older man's eyes hardened. We make noise, we make chaos, we stop being prey. Evan liked that plan already. First, Mr. Harris said, we need to get back inside. Evan frowned. Inside, while a giant murder ship is aiming at this place. Yes, Harris replied calmly, because inside is where the kids are, the teachers. Your people, Evan. If we leave them, the hunter may decide to erase everyone just to be safe. Ryla's voice became a whisper. They would do that. Evan looked up at the spinning sky. The pressure felt heavier now, like invisible hands pushing downward. He thought about his class, the kids who laughed at him, the kids who ignored him, the teachers who barely knew his name. He thought about his mother washing dishes at home, not knowing any of this was happening. He took a deep breath. I'm staying, he said. This is my school. Ryla stared at him with a strange, quiet awe. You are not afraid. I am, he said honestly. A lot, but you're my friend, and so is this place. I'm not watching it burn. Mr. Harris smiled in a sad, proud way. HFY, he murmured again. Still the same. Ryla looked between them. Then tell me, she said softly, how can I help without making things worse? The janitor turned to her chair, examining its sides. Your shield can hide you when you're calm, but fear leaks energy. You need to stay focused, controlled, no panic. Can you do that? Ryla took a deep breath. Her hands trembled, but she nodded. I will try. Evan put a hand gently on the side of her chair. You won't be alone. A low rumble shook the ground. From the back of the school they heard screams. Mr. Harris's eyes snapped toward the building. It's starting. Move. Evan said. Ryla's chair rose a little higher, and she directed it with a small touch on a glowing control pad. Evan ran beside her and Mr. Harris moved ahead surprisingly fast. They rounded the corner and rushed through a side door into the school. Inside, the lights flickered. Students ran through the halls, shouting, panicking. Teachers yelled for everyone to stay calm, which never worked in any emergency in the history of the universe. Some kids cried, some tried to call their parents, some recorded everything on their phones, still thinking it might be a prank or a strange event that would go viral. But when they looked out the windows and saw the sky, they stopped thinking it was a joke. The clouds had parted in a perfect circle above the school. In the middle of that circle, a black shape hovered in the air. It was smooth, like a piece of dark glass, with red lights crawling along its surface like veins. A part of it detached. It fell not like a rock, but like a predator diving. Thin, sharp, controlled. Ryla whispered, "A hunter fragment. They are sending one unit down." "Big enough to kill us?" Evan asked. "Yes," she said, "and small enough to fit in your hallways." The fragment disappeared behind the building's roof. A second later, a deep boom shook the far side of the school. Dust fell from the ceiling. A light fixture swung. Some kids screamed again. Mr. Harris grabbed the nearby fire alarm and pulled it. The bell exploded into sound, sharp and loud. Everyone out. Teachers shouted, "Evacuate the building." Dozens of students ran toward the main exit. Ryla flinched. "No," she whispered. "The hunter will not let them leave. It will block the exits. It will trap everyone inside until it finds me." As if answering her words, a loud electric screech echoed through the hall. The main doors at the front of the school suddenly sealed shut, covered by a strange metallic film growing from nothing. Kids slammed into it and bounced back, shouting. Pushing, panicking, Mr. Harris cursed under his breath. "They're locking us in." Evan's jaw tightened. "We need to move them away from the main halls, somewhere safer." "There is no safe place," Ryla said sadly. "Not while I am here." He turned to her. "Then we make one." He climbed onto a nearby bench. "Hey," he yelled, using every bit of strength in his voice. "Everyone, gym, go to the gym." Some students ignored him, but a few heard and turned. "It's got no windows," Evan yelled. "Big doors, strong walls, go." A teacher heard him and picked up the idea. "You heard him." To the gym. Move. Slowly, like a wave changing direction, the crowd shifted. Students began running toward the gym. Evan jumped down and started guiding kids, pointing, pushing, shouting instructions. For the first time in his school life, people actually listened to him. Ryla watched him with wide eyes. "You are leading them," she said softly. He shrugged, breathless. "Somebody has to." "Humans," she whispered almost to herself. "Always surprising." Mr. Harris nodded approvingly. "Good, get them away from the main corridors. The hunter will take the shortest path to its target. That's you. The fewer humans in its path, the better." Evan looked at the janitor. "Where will it come from?" "Straight line from the impact point," he said. "Probably the science wing. Too much metal over there. Harder to see from outside." Another impact shook the building. This one was closer. A long, scraping sound followed, like claws dragging along tile floors, the sound of something heavy moving. Ryla's hands started shaking again. Her skin began to glow. "Ryla," Harris said sharply, "calm, breathe, think of something else, something safe." She closed her eyes. Her breaths came quick, then slower. "I am trying," she whispered. "But it is hard when death walks inside the building." "It's okay," Evan said, standing next to her chair. "Look at me." She opened her eyes. He forced a crooked smile. "See, still here, still stupid, still human." A small laugh escaped her, weak but real. The glow around her body faded a little. Mr. Harris nodded. "Good, hold that feeling." The scraping sound grew louder, then they saw it. The hunter fragment turned the corner at the end of the hallway. It was about 3 meters tall, shaped like a twisted insect made of black glass and sharp metal. It walked on 4 long, blade-like legs that cut tiny lines into the floor with each step. A cluster of red lights formed a face at the front, shifting and blinking as it scanned the area. The air around it seemed heavier, darker. The lights above it flickered and died. "Target presence detected," a cold, layered voice echoed from the creature. It did not sound like one voice, but many speaking at once. Ryla's chair jerked backward on instinct. "Hunter Class Gamma," she whispered. "They sent their best." The red lights swept across the hallway, passing over crying students, broken lockers, fallen books. Then the lights locked onto Ryla. "Primary signal located," the voice said. "Extraction required. Secondary organisms expendable." Evan stepped in front of her again. "Hey, toaster face," he shouted, heart pounding. "She's not going anywhere with you." Red lights flickered. "Human interference detected," the voice said. "Low threat level." Mr. Harris stepped closer too, holding nothing but his old ring of keys. "2 human signatures," the hunter continued. "One has previous engagement record. Designation Harris 7. Evan glanced at the janitor. "It remembers you, I told you," Harris said quietly. "I've met them before." The hunter's legs spread like a spider preparing to strike. Its body lowered a little. "Relocate or be terminated," it said. The building groaned. Somewhere far away, a student cried for their mom. Ryla's hands shook again, but this time her eyes filled not just with fear but anger. "Why do you do this?" she suddenly shouted at the machine. "Why do you hunt us? We have never harmed you." The red lights shifted toward her. "Your species emits measurable energy," the voice replied. "Harvesting and elimination is efficient. Emotional distress improves yield. Your suffering is useful." Evan felt something snap inside him. He had been scared, confused, overwhelmed, but now he was just furious. "You think her pain is useful," he said slowly. You think you can just walk in here, scare kids, trap us, and take her because it's efficient?" The hunter didn't respond. Its legs scraped the floor as it took another step. Evan stepped closer instead of back. "Then hear this," he said. His voice shook, but from rage, not fear. "This is our world, our school, our friend. You might be stronger, smarter, better armed, but today you picked the wrong planet." Ryla stared at him like she was seeing him for the first time. Mr. Harris gave the smallest nod. "HFY," he whispered. "There it is." The hunter's lights pulsed. Resistance recorded, termination authorized. One of its front legs rose, sharp and deadly, aiming at Evan. Ryla screamed. "No." Her hands lifted. A shockwave of blue energy exploded from her body. It hit the hunter like a silent storm. The red lights flickered wildly. The creature staggered, its legs sliding sideways on the smooth floor. The shield around Ryla's chair flared bright, then cracked. Mr. Harris shouted, "Ryla, no, too much," but she couldn't stop. Years of fear, years of being chased, years of running and hiding and never, ever fighting back, all of that broke at once. The hunter slammed into the wall, leaving a deep crack. Pieces of ceiling fell around it. "System destabilized," the many-layered voice hissed. "Unexpected output. Target energy exceeds predicted." It tried to stand again, but its legs shook. Evan looked back at Ryla. Her eyes glowed like small blue suns. Her skin shone. Her hairless head was crowned with lines of light. She looked like a star in human shape, but she also looked exhausted. Shield around her chair shattered like glass. Fragments of blue light fell and vanished. Ryla slumped forward. Evan rushed to her side. Ryla, stay with me." She smiled weakly. "I am tired." The hunter shuddered, then straightened itself again, though not fully. Its once smooth body now had cracks of blue energy crawling over it like veins of lightning. "New priority," it said, voice broken. "Target too powerful. Capture required. Human defense recalculated." Its form began to shift, metal sliding against metal. It was adapting. Mr. Harris grabbed Evan's shoulder. "We need to move now before it finishes changing." Evan looked at Ryla, drained, breathing hard, barely conscious. "Can you move your chair?" he asked. She tried. The chair rose only a few centimeters, then dropped again. "I cannot," she whispered. The hunter took a step forward. For the first time, Evan realized something awful. Ryla was powerful, but power for her meant pain. Every time she used it, it broke her a little, and the hunter wanted more. He stood up between her and the machine again. Mr. Harris stepped beside him. The hunter tilted its head, red lights pulsing. "Two unarmed humans," it said. "No visible weapons, no technology, no advantage." Mr. Harris smiled, tired but fierce. "You never did understand us," he said. "That's your problem." Evan nodded, because right now they didn't have weapons. They had something else. They had each other. And somewhere behind them in the gym, hundreds of scared humans were watching, listening, waiting to see what one boy and one old man would do when a monster walked into their school. This was no longer just about Ryla. It was about what humans do when someone needs them. The hunter's legs tensed. Its body glowed red. The next move would decide everything. And the battle for the school was only just beginning. The hallway was silent for a single heartbeat. Then the hunter moved, fast, too fast for something so large. Its metal legs sliced the air as it charged forward, aiming directly at Evan. The red lights on its body pulsed like angry fire, brighter and brighter with each step. Evan didn't move. He couldn't. He stood frozen, not because he was afraid, though he was terrified, but because behind him sat Ryla, half-conscious and defenseless. If he stepped aside, the hunter would reach her. He wasn't going to let that happen. Not now, not ever. "Evan," Ryla gasped weakly. "Move." "No," he whispered. Then something unexpected happened. Mr. Harris stepped in front of Evan. The janitor, old, quiet, usually ignored, stood between a deadly alien machine and two children. He lifted a single object, a key, just a normal, worn-out school key on his keyring. Evan blinked. Sir, that's not a weapon." "It is, Mr. Harris said calmly, "when you know how to use it." The hunter lunged. Mr. Harris moved. Evan could barely follow the motion. The old janitor twisted, stepped, and struck the hunter's front leg with the small key exactly on a thin, glowing line of blue crack Ryla's energy had created. A sharp crack echoed. The hunter staggered to one side as if someone had smashed its balance. Its red lights flickered. "Unexpected technique," Evan stared. "You just hit a killing machine with it." Mr. Harris shrugged. "Well, I've had practice." The hunter readjusted, dragging its broken leg across the floor. It scanned the janitor again. "Identity confirmed. Harris 7, survivor of Theta collapse, not predicted on this planet." Mr. Harris frowned. "You should have destroyed that memory. Guess your kind still loves holding grudges." "Correction," the hunter said, its voice glitching. "We hold data, not grudges." Evan pulled Ryla's chair backwards. She clutched the sides. "Still weak. Why is he not dead?" she whispered. "Because Mr. Harris said humans don't always die when they're supposed to." The hunter hissed, a low mechanical screech that shook dust from the ceiling. It lifted another leg, sharper than before. It was adapting again. "Evan," Mr. Harris said without looking back, "take her to the gym now." "No," Evan said, "I'm not leaving you alone." "You won't be leaving me," the janitor replied. "You'll be buying me time. And she needs you more than I do." Evan looked at Ryla. Her breath came in short, painful bursts. Her glow flickered like a candle in the wind. If the hunter reached her, she wasn't strong enough to fight again. Evan grit his teeth. "Okay, but you come back alive, understood?" Mr. Harris smiled faintly. "I'll try, kid." The hunter leaped again. This time Evan didn't stay to watch. He grabbed the control bar on Ryla's chair and sprinted down the hallway, pushing the floating seat as fast as it would go. Ryla clung to the sides, her eyes half closed. Behind them, metal crashed against tile. Evan didn't look back. He didn't want to see the janitor fall. He didn't want to see the hunter rise. He just ran. They reached the main hall, now filled with broken ceiling pieces, cracked lockers, and scattered students still trying to escape. A teacher held a crying girl by the hand, shouting for everyone to stay close. Evan waved his arms. "Gym, everyone to the gym, go now." A group of kids stared at him unsure. Then they saw Ryla's glowing chair behind him. The fear on their faces sharpened. Some stepped back, others froze. One boy whispered, "It's because of her. All this is happening because of her." Ryla heard it. She lowered her head. Evan snapped, "This isn't her fault. She's being hunted. You would be too if something wanted to take you away." The boy looked away, ashamed. Ryla whispered, "Evan, don't yell. It only scares them more." "But they're wrong," he said. "I know," she whispered, "but anger does not calm fear." He swallowed hard. Maybe she was right. He took a breath, then raised his voice again, this time steady and strong. "If you want to live, go to the gym. It has thick walls, no windows. Stay together." Now they listened. Humans didn't follow anger, but they followed leadership. Students rushed toward the gym in waves. Teachers guided them, shouting for everyone to stay away from the main hall. The building shook again, this time violently. A wall cracked behind Evan. A locker fell open, and a horrible scraping noise echoed from the hall they just left. Ryla stiffened. "He is coming." Evan pushed her faster. "Not if we move first." The gym doors finally came into view. A few kids held them open for others. Teachers yelled instructions. Evan pushed Ryla inside. The gym was huge and echoing. Kids huddled together in fear. Some cried, some prayed, some held hands tightly. No one felt brave until they saw Evan and the alien girl entering together. Ryla's glowing skin reflected on the dark gym walls, giving the room an almost magical blue tint. Some young students stared at her with wonder, older ones with fear. Evan stepped forward. "Listen," he shouted. "Everyone, just listen to me." The gym fell silent. Even the crying stopped. "We are not helpless," Evan said loudly. "There is something dangerous inside the school, but we are together. No one is alone, and we're going to survive this." He felt his voice shake, but he didn't let it stop him. Ryla watched him, eyes wide, not with fear now, but admiration. "There is a creature coming," Evan continued. "It's hunting someone. She didn't choose this. She didn't bring it on purpose. She needs our help, and we're going to protect each other until we get out." Someone whispered. "But we're kids." Evan shook his head. "We're humans, and humans can do more than we think." The gym doors shook suddenly. A heavy boom hit them from outside. Students screamed. Teachers rushed to hold the door shut. Ryla trembled. "He is searching." Evan ran to help brace the door, but the moment he touched the metal handle, it glowed bright red. He jerked his hand away in pain. "It's hot." Ryla's eyes widened. "He is melting through." A thin red line appeared in the center of the door, metal turning into liquid. Evan backed up. "Everyone stay away from the doors." The students scrambled back. The metal line grew wider, then a long, sharp leg pierced through. Screams filled the gym. The hunter was here. Evan's heart hammered. "Move everyone to the sides. Stay away from the entrance." Teachers rushed to push students into corners. Ryla whispered shakily, "I cannot fight again. I have no power left." "I know," Evan said, kneeling beside her. "It's okay. You don't need to." "I am the reason," she whispered. "If I was not here, if you weren't here," Evan said firmly, "I wouldn't have a friend worth fighting for." Tears filled her glowing eyes. The metal door finally split open and the hunter stepped inside, tall as the basketball hoop and twice as deadly. Red lights scanned the gym. Target detected, secondary organisms, expendable. Its long blade leg pointed toward Ryla. Evan moved in front of her again. "No," he said. The hunter paused. It tilted its head. "Obstacle repeats previous pattern, illogical persistence." "Yeah," Evan said, shaking. "Humans are good at that." The hunter stepped forward, then a thunderous crash shook the entire gym. Everyone looked up. The ceiling above the hunter split open, and through the falling debris a figure dropped down. Mr. Harris, covered in dust, bleeding from a cut on his forehead, but alive. He hit the hunter with something long and metallic, a fire extinguisher. The hunter collapsed sideways, metal legs skidding across the floor. "Thought you might need help," Mr. Harris panted. The gym erupted in gasps. The hunter rose again, shaking off the attack, lights flickering dangerously. Its voice broke into static. "Error, human interference level higher than predicted." Evan stood. "Yeah, keep recalculating." The hunter surged forward, targeting Ryla again. "Mr. Harris grabbed a rope from the gym ceiling and swung between the creature's legs, pulling one hard. The hunter fell. Students screamed. Teachers shouted. Ryla swallowed hard and whispered, "I must help." "No," Evan said, "you're too weak." She shook her head. "I can't use power, but I can distract him." She lifted herself weakly from her chair and whispered a string of soft alien words. A faint hologram of her appeared across the room, small but glowing brightly. The hunter turned, its lights flared. It lunged at the hologram. Evan gasped. That's genius." Ryla smiled weakly. "Old trick of my people." The hunter hit the far wall, smashing through bleachers as the hologram vanished like dust. The gym shook. Pieces of wood and metal fell everywhere. Mr. Harris pulled Evan back behind a climbing rack. We need a plan. That distraction won't last long. Evan turned to Ryla, breathless. Can your chair still move? She nodded weakly. Then we need to trick it, Evan said. Make it chase the wrong person. Ryla shook her head quickly. No, you will die, not if I'm faster. The hunter rose again, scanning wildly confused. Evan stepped out into the open. Hey, he yelled. Over here. The hunter turned instantly. Human Evan Carter, it said, threat level rising. Evan swallowed hard. Good, because for once he wanted to be dangerous. The hunter charged. Evan ran. The hunter charged. Evan ran. His feet slammed against the floor, each step louder in his head than the alien machine behind him. The gym echoed with screams, shouts, and the terrible metal scraping of the hunter's legs. He didn't look back. He couldn't. If he saw how close it was, he might freeze. The plan was simple. Make the hunter chase him. Make it forget Ryla. Give her time. Simple, stupid, very human. As he sprinted, the hunter's cold voice followed him. Target diversion detected. Human Evan Carter, capture not required. Termination allowed. Yeah, Evan muttered between breaths. Come and try, you tin spider. He burst out of the broken gym doors into the hallway. The lights flickered. Alarms screamed. Smoke from broken wires and ceiling panels floated in the air. Behind him, the hunter smashed through the doorway, tearing the frame apart. Its legs cut deep trails in the floor. It was faster on open ground. Evan turned left, then right. Heart racing, lungs burning. He stumbled, hit a locker with his shoulder, but kept going. He had no map, no weapon, no plan beyond don't die. But he ran anyway. Back in the gym, the door hung off its hinges. Part of the wall was broken. Kids huddled in the corners, shaking. Ryla sat in her chair, breathing hard. She watched the empty doorway where Evan had disappeared. He took it away, she whispered. He made himself the target. Mr. Harris wiped blood from his forehead and looked around. Yeah, that idiot is braver than he looks. Some students stared at Ryla with fear, others with guilt. A small girl from 7th grade stepped closer, hands shaking. Is he going to die because of you? Ryla looked down. Her glowing tears fell silently. I did not ask him to, she whispered. I never wanted humans to be hurt because of me. A tall boy in a basketball jersey frowned. Then why is that thing after you? Ryla swallowed. Because my people are different. Our energy is useful to their machines. We never agreed to be hunted. We never fought them. We only ran, but running did not save us. The students went quiet. Mr. Harris stepped forward. Listen up, all of you, he said. His voice was rough but loud. You want the truth. That thing out there is dangerous, yes, but it's not here because she's evil. He pointed at Ryla. It's here because she's valuable, and because her people refused to fight. They chose peace. The hunters chose profit. One kid muttered, so she's like a walking battery or something. Ryla's hands tightened. I am not a thing, she said softly. I am a person. I want to live. I want to study. I want to laugh. I want to be normal. Her voice cracked on the last word. Silence. Then slowly another student stepped closer. It was the same boy who had earlier said, "It's because of her." His face was pale. His hands shook. I was scared, he said quietly. I said bad things. I blamed you, but that thing, it doesn't care who we are, right? If we're scared or kind or mean, it just kills. Yes, Ryla whispered. He swallowed. Then you're not the enemy. The word surprised even him. Mr. Harris nodded. That's right. The enemy is the one who walks in here, locks us in, and decides our lives are expendable because we're in the way. Another girl wearing a hoodie spoke slowly. So what do we do? Just hide here and wait? Ryla looked at the broken doorway. No, she whispered. If we hide, Evan will die alone. Something shifted in the room then. Fear was still there, heavy and thick, but something else began to grow under it. Anger, shame, and then courage. A boy from the soccer team clenched his fists. He ran out there to protect us. We can't just do nothing. A girl with glasses nodded. We don't have laser guns, we don't have alien powers, but we have a whole gym of stuff. Her eyes moved across the room. Basketballs, ropes, poles, metal bleachers, climbing frames, mats, nets, humans, Mr. Harris said, a small smile forming. Now you're thinking like your species. Ryla looked confused. What can these things do against a hunter? Maybe nothing, the hoodie girl said. Maybe something, but doing nothing definitely doesn't help. She grabbed a basketball and squeezed it. If it wants one of us, it'll have to go through all of us. Out in the hallway, the hunt continued. Evan dashed around another corner, nearly slipping. The hunter's legs stabbed into the floor behind him, coming closer. Evan Carter, the hunter's broken voice called. You cannot escape. You lack speed. You lack power. You lack purpose. Shows how much you know, Evan panted. He dove into the science wing, shoved open a lab door, and slammed it behind him. The room was full of tables, shelves, and equipment. He scanned it quickly. Microscopes, metal stools, chemical bottles, gas burners, thick rubber safety mats. His mind raced. There was no time to be smart, so he decided to be stupid fast. He grabbed a tall metal stand and propped it against the door handle. Then he turned on one of the gas taps, then another, then a third. The faint smell of gas began to fill the air. He opened a small electric box on the wall. The wires inside sparked slightly. He heard the hunter's metal steps outside. Room breach in progress, the voice said. The door shook. Evan grabbed the nearest lab coat and tied it to the metal stand, securing it tighter against the handle. Human improvised defenses detected, the hunter said. Insufficient. Evan backed away, breathing fast. If he got this wrong, the explosion would kill him too. He thought of his mom. He thought of Ryla. He thought of all the kids in the gym. If I die, he whispered, I hope it hurts you more than me. The door ripped inward. The metal stand flew away, bending like a toy. The hunter's blade leg pierced the floor. It stepped inside. Its red lights locked on him. Termination now, it said. Evan gave it a shaky smile. You first. He grabbed the exposed wires with a rubber glove and yanked them hard. Sparks exploded. The room lit up for a split second with white light. Then boom, flames burst across the ceiling. The windows shattered, sending glass outward. The tables flipped. Smoke filled the air. Evan flew backward, hit the ground hard, ears ringing. His vision blurred. He coughed, choking on smoke. Something heavy crashed near him, a piece of ceiling. He tried to move. His body screamed in pain. Through the smoke, he saw a large, dark shape lying half buried under debris. The hunter. Its lights were dim now, flickering weakly. Its legs twitched slowly as if trying to move but failing. Evan smiled weakly. Got you, he whispered. System damaged, the hunter's voice crackled. Mobility reduced. Evan tried to stand. His leg wouldn't cooperate. Pain shot up from his ankle, maybe broken, maybe worse. He dragged himself across the floor instead. Every movement hurt. But he kept crawling, using his elbows inch by inch. Through the broken glass and dust. He had to get back to the gym, back to Ryla, back to everyone who was counting on him, even if they didn't know it. Behind him, the hunter's red lights flared one more time. It began to move again, not fast, not strong, but alive. Human stubbornness recorded. It hissed. You delay, you do not stop. Yeah, Evan muttered, that's kind of our thing. He reached the doorframe and dragged himself into the hall, one arm at a time. Smoke seeped out behind him. Back in the gym, things had changed. Ropes were tied from the ceiling beams, mats were stacked to form barriers, students had collected balls, metal poles, and even broken pieces of bleachers. It didn't look like a gym anymore, it looked like a fort. Ryla watched in stunned silence as humans, small, scared, ordinary humans, prepared to face something their world had never seen before. The boy in the basketball jersey spun a ball in his hands. If that thing comes again, we hit it from all sides. The girl with glasses pointed to the climbing ropes. We can trip its legs, wrap them, slow it down. Another student held a long metal bar. We go for the cracks Ryla made earlier, the blue lines, that's where it's weak. You all will die, Ryla whispered, horrified. You cannot fight a hunter with toys. Mr. Harris shook his head. Maybe not. But courage is not a toy. He knelt beside her. Listen to me, Ryla, your people ran, that's not a shame, you did what you had to do to survive, but humans, we have a bad habit. When something hunts one of us, he looked at the students. We pack up and hunt it back. Ryla's lips trembled. Why take such risk? Because, he said softly, we don't like bullies. Doesn't matter if they are human or metal or from another galaxy. A sudden sound echoed in the distance, a heavy, uneven scraping, closer, then a crack, then a metallic hiss. The hunter was coming back. The gym fell silent. Everyone looked at the destroyed doorway. Ryla's heart pounded. He is hurt, she whispered. Weaker, maybe Evan's doing. Mr. Harris nodded. Then the kid did his part. Now it's our turn. He stood, grabbed a long broom handle and faced the entrance. The students took their positions, ropes held tight. Balls ready to be thrown, bars and poles gripped in shaking hands. A girl whispered, I'm scared. So am I, said the boy next to her, but I'm more scared of doing nothing. The hunter appeared in the doorway. Its body was cracked and burnt. Some of its legs dragged uselessly. One arm hung twisted and broken. Smoke rose from its joints, but it still moved. Primary target not present, it rasped. Signal detected. Gymnasium, multiple humans, acceptable losses. It stepped forward. Now, shouted the boy in the jersey. Students threw balls with all their strength. Basketballs, volleyballs, even a soccer ball flew through the air, hitting the hunter's cracked head and sensors. In a normal fight, that would be pointless. But the hunter's vision was already damaged. The hits made its red lights scatter. Visual input impaired. Ropes dropped from above, thrown by students hanging cautiously from the climbing frames. They wrapped around the hunter's legs. Pulling tightly, pull, a girl shouted. They pulled with everything they had. The hunter staggered, its leg slipped, it crashed to one knee. Now the bars, someone yelled. 4 boys rushed forward with metal poles from the broken bleachers. They jabbed them into the glowing blue cracks. The hunter shrieked in static. Damage rising, Ryla watched with tears streaming down her face. These are children, she whispered. Children fighting a hunter. Mr. Harris stood beside her, ready with his broom handle. Yes, he said quietly, welcome to humanity. The hunter swung one leg wildly, throwing 2 students back. They hit the mats hard, groaning. Another swipe smashed part of the climbing frame. A rope snapped. A boy fell, landing on a mat with a cry. Stay back, a teacher yelled, trying to shield the younger kids, but the older ones didn't move away. They stepped forward. They were scared. Their hands shook. Some cried, but they stayed. Because one boy had run alone, and now they refused to let him be the only brave one. The hunter tried to stand again. Ropes pulled tighter, bars pushed deeper. Its body sparked. Error structural integrity failing. Ryla gripped the sides of her chair so hard her fingers hurt. I must do something, she whispered. No, Mr. Harris said, you'll break yourself. I don't care, she said through her tears. They fight for me. I will not sit and watch humans die for my life. Her eyes glowed brighter, energy built under her skin, not wild this time, focused, controlled. She lifted her hand, fingers trembling, and whispered a word in her native language. A small bright sphere of blue light appeared above her palm. Ryla, Mr. Harris gasped. That will kill you, she smiled sadly. Maybe, but I would rather die as someone they were proud to help. She directed the light forward. It floated slowly through the gym, growing brighter, humming softly. The student stepped aside as it passed. The hunter turned toward it, sensors screaming. Overload detected, unacceptable. The blue sphere touched its cracked chest. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the light exploded inward, not outward, like a star collapsing. The hunter jerked, its legs spasmed, its lights flashed wild and then went dark. The machine collapsed to the floor with a thunderous crash. Silent. Still dead, the gym was quiet. No one moved, no one spoke. Then a little kid whispered, "Did we win?" A shaky laugh escaped someone, then another, then a cheer. The gym filled with cries of joy, sobs, relieved laughter. Kids hugged each other. Teachers sank to the floor, exhausted. Mr. Harris didn't cheer, he turned. Ryla lay slumped in her chair, eyes closed, her glow almost gone. "Ryla," he cried, kneeling beside her. Her chest rose and fell slowly. She was alive. "But barely. You did it," he whispered. "You crazy, brave little star, you did it." The doors at the far side of the gym creaked. Students turned. Someone was dragging themselves in. Evan, covered in ash and dust, limping badly, one eye swollen but smiling. "You guys look like you had fun," he croaked. The students stared. Then the entire gym exploded into cheers again. A wave of kids ran toward him, some laughing, some crying. They helped him, held him, supported him. He looked around the room, at the fallen hunter, at the broken ropes, at the kids with makeshift weapons, at Mr. Harris, finally at Ryla. She opened her eyes just a little. "You came back," she whispered weakly. He limped to her side. "Told you I'm stubborn." She smiled faintly. "Humans," she breathed. "Always surprising." Her eyes closed again, but this time in rest, not in fear. The hunter was silent. The ship in the sky still hovered. But its lights dimmed, confused. It had lost its tool. It had lost its prey. It had met something it never understood, humans, and they were not done yet. The gym felt different now, silent, heavy, waiting. The hunter lay crushed and lifeless on the floor, its twisted metal body still smoking. The ropes around its legs hung loosely like broken spiderwebs. Students stared at it from a safe distance, whispering to each other. But no one in the room felt safe, because outside, the sky was still cracked with red light. The hunter had been defeated, but the ship above the school had not left, and everyone knew what that meant. "They are still there," Evan whispered, wincing as he leaned against a bench. His ankle throbbed with pain, his ribs hurt when he breathed. But he stayed standing. He looked at Ryla. She lay slumped in her floating chair, her glow weak, almost gone. Every breath she took seemed to require all her strength. Mr. Harris knelt beside her. Checking her pulse, he gave a soft nod. "She's alive, but she burned too much of her life energy. She cannot fight again." "Will she get better?" a little girl asked softly. The janitor didn't answer immediately. His silence was enough. Evan stepped closer, ignoring the pain shooting through his leg. "What do we do now?" Before Mr. Harris could reply, a deep rumble vibrated through the gym. The lights flickered, then dimmed, and outside, the spinning clouds separated once more, revealing a massive glowing lens on the underside of the alien ship. Ryla opened her eyes weakly. "No," Evan crouched beside her. "What is that?" Her voice shook. "A purge beam. They want to erase everything the hunter recorded. They will destroy this school and every human inside." The gym fell silent. Every student froze. Teachers went pale. Even Mr. Harris looked shaken. He whispered, "They're covering their tracks." Ryla nodded weakly. "Yes, they want no witnesses." Evan felt something cold crawl down his back. "And us? We are witnesses," she whispered. A loud humming filled the air. The beam above glowed brighter, charging. Panic spread instantly. Kids screamed. Teachers yelled for everyone to move away from windows. Some ran to the back walls. Others grabbed their phones and tried calling 911. "We're going to die," someone cried. "Everyone stay calm," Mr. Harris shouted. "Panicking won't." His words were drowned out by another heavy boom from outside. The sky flashed. Evan ran to the broken window and looked out. His eyes widened. "Mr. Harris," he whispered, "something else is coming." The janitor limped to the window and looked up. The clouds above the alien ship twisted, not from the hunter vessel but from something else forcing its way through the atmosphere, something massive, something blue and silver. Ryla saw the reflection of the object in the window. Her eyes widened, glowing faintly. "Is that?" she whispered. Mr. Harris nodded slowly. "Yes, and thank the stars for it." A second ship appeared through the clouds, but this one was not dark or sharp like the hunter's. It was smooth, glowing with soft blue lines, beautiful, ancient, elegant. The room gasped. "That's an alien ship too," Evan breathed, "but not one of theirs." Ryla's voice trembled. "It is from my people." Students crowded the windows, whispering, pointing, staring. The new ship was enormous, bigger than the hunter vessel and brighter. Its center glowed with white-blue energy like a star captured in metal. Then a voice echoed across the sky, not a violent mechanical voice like the hunters, but soft, calm, almost musical. A translator device converted it into human language. We have heard the call of our child. We come in peace, but we come prepared. Ryla's head dropped back against her chair. Tears, faint blue drops, slid down her cheeks. I thought they were all gone, she whispered. I thought I was the last. Mr. Harris put a gentle hand on her shoulder. Not anymore. The hunter ship reacted instantly. Red lines flashed across its hull. The purge beam above the school grew brighter, ready to fire. But the new ship moved faster. It fired a soft blue arc of energy, not destructive, not violent, precise. The beam sliced cleanly through the hunter vessel's purge lens, shutting it down completely. The whole sky lit up. Students cheered inside the gym, crying, shouting, hugging each other. Some fell to their knees in relief. Teachers wiped tears away. Evan stayed at the window, his eyes wide. The hunter ship wasn't done. Red symbols ran along its hull. Panels opened. Smaller drones flew out. They're deploying a swarm, Mr. Harris said, to protect themselves. But the peaceful ship didn't attack. Instead, it projected dozens of glowing shields across the sky, forming a protective dome around the entire school. It's saving us, Evan breathed. In the center of the gym, Ryla lifted her hand weakly. The glow of the approaching ship reflected in her eyes. I knew this signature, she said softly. It is the Royal Beacon, the last ship of my people. Evan frowned. Royal, she nodded. My family was chosen to guard our remaining history, our knowledge, our hope. That is why the hunters wanted me most. I was their greatest prize. So you're important, a kid whispered. Ryla looked down. I did not want to be. I only wanted to be normal. Evan crouched beside her. You saved everyone in this room today. That's not normal. That's incredible. Her weak smile returned. Humans are kind to me, kinder than I expected. Another huge explosion echoed outside. Students ducked. Teachers shielded the younger ones. Evan rushed back to the window. The peaceful ship moved with graceful speed, dodging bright red shots from the hunter vessel. It didn't fire to kill, it fired to disable, to protect, to hold the line. War filled the sky, but it wasn't humans fighting, not this time. This time, humans were the ones being protected. It's buying time, Mr. Harris said, just like Evan did. But why aren't they finishing the hunter off? Evan asked. Ryla answered, her voice faint. Because my people do not believe in killing, even enemies. Evan blinked. Even after what they did to you? Yes, she whispered. That is our way. Evan stared out the window again. Your people are better than us, he said quietly. No, Ryla said, just different. Suddenly, a massive red beam from the hunter ship struck the peaceful one, sending it spinning. Ryla gasped. It's too. She cried. They will break through the shields. Mr. Harris shook his head. No, they won't. How do you know? Evan asked. Because now humans have joined the fight. He pointed. Outside the school, police cars pulled up. Officers shouted for backup, staring in shock at the alien ships above. Fire trucks arrived. News helicopters circled, broadcasting everything live. And on the nearby hills, the National Guard rolled in with armored vehicles. Evan's eyes widened. That's a human army. Ryla stared, stunned. Your people are coming to defend you, to defend us, Evan corrected. You too. Dozens of human missiles shot into the sky, not accurate enough to hit alien ships, but enough to distract, enough to push back, enough to help. And for the first time in her life, Ryla saw humans and her people fighting together, side by side. It is beautiful, she whispered. The hunter ship shuddered as combined human and alien firepower hit its shields. It blinked red, struggling to stabilize. For the first time since arriving, it retreated, slow, reluctant, beaten. The peaceful ship stayed above the school, shields still expanding, still glowing, still protecting. Then a soft, gentle beam of light descended from it, not an attack, but a signal. It surrounded Ryla. Her chair hummed. The energy healed tiny cracks in its metal. Evan stepped back. What's happening? Ryla breathed softly. They are calling me home. Students stared, some cried, some smiled, some looked confused. Are you leaving? Evan asked quietly. She looked at him with tired eyes. Yes, but not forever. He knelt beside her. I'll miss you. Her glowing fingers touched his hand, and tears filled her eyes. You gave me what my people could not. Hope, friendship, courage. Evan swallowed hard. You're the bravest person I've ever met. She smiled weakly. Only because a human boy carried me when I could not walk. Her floating chair rose slowly into the beam of light. Students watched in awe. Teachers watched in silence. Mr. Harris wiped his eyes discreetly. As Ryla rose toward the peaceful ship, her voice echoed back one last time. Humans, you surprised me. You stood for someone not your own. You fought for what is right. You protected the weak. For that, I love your world. Then she looked at Evan, and you are the best of them. The beam brightened, and Ryla disappeared into the light. The gym stayed silent for a long time. No one knew what to say. Then a small kid whispered, humans saved an alien today. Another whispered, and an alien saved us. Mr. Harris rested a hand on Evan's shoulder. You did more than you know, kid, much more. Evan stared at the fading light in the sky. We'll see her again, he said softly. Mr. Harris smiled. Yes, and next time she'll walk to class instead of floating. Evan laughed through his tears. Above the school, the peaceful ship hovered a moment longer, then it vanished into the clouds, leaving behind a scarred sky, a ruined school, and hundreds of shaken but inspired humans. HFY.